Brewers recap. We are back. Okay. It has been quite the week. The last time we met, it was the Brewers off day on this past Tuesday. And honestly, not much happened the rest of the Phillies series. So we talked about game one. At that point, the Brewers were just dog tired. Everybody was out of it. They were on their 19th game in 18 days. That game's kind of a wash. They lost. There's two left against the Phillies after Tuesday, and then we have the Pirates series to get into. Let's talk about it. Game two of the Phillies series. Really, it's a two-game set in my mind. That first game on Labor Day, it's a game that the Brewers realistically weren't going to win, right? Like, you're at the end of this hell stretch that they had been on, and they're facing a lot of good teams in those 19 games you played. The Cubs, the Diamondbacks, who are good when they're right, not overall on the season, but like there's a lot of high end talent on the Diamondbacks team. You played the Blue Jays, and then you end it with game one against Philly. You lose that game. You go 9-10 in that stretch of games. And honestly, I think you take that. You go about 500 in a stretch where you don't have any off days, where your bullpen is gassed. You have McGill getting on the injured list. Joey Ortiz entered and exited the IL in that stretch of games. That whole time was long enough without an off day that Ortiz was on the IL and off. That's how long of a stretch the Brewers went without having a day off. And they played fine. So the second game of this Phillies series was really strange. Like, looking back on it, it's very strange because the Brewers jumped on Aaron Nola instantly. That first inning, they put up 5 runs, and it could have been worse. Quite honestly, the first 5 guys all got on and scored. Isaac Collins was the one that hit the 3-run homer there to like really bust it open. And from then on, it was the Brewers offense did next to nothing. There was one more run scored throughout the rest of that entire game. It was still off Nola, so his final line was 5 innings, 6 earned runs. But honestly, the Phillies getting 5 innings out of Nola after he gives up 5 runs to the first 5 batters of the game is like an absurd case of best case scenario. If you go into that game and say Nola's giving up 5 in the first inning, no chance you think you're getting 5 innings out of him. They do, and good for them. Brewers win in a pretty uneventful game. Quintana was kind of like back. This was a good start for him, a quality start for him. After his start before that against Arizona, just he didn't look right. He didn't have the zone. He wasn't getting a lot of help from behind the plate in that game, but still he just didn't look like himself. So it was nice to see him come in, and he gave up 7 hits, but he looked sharp for the most part. 3 walks, and it was a pretty decent game from Quintana. And then between Uribe, Koenig, and Ashby, no runs given up by the bullpen. Brewers win 6-3. That third game in the Phillies series was, it kind of felt like coming into that Wednesday, the off day for the Brewers kind of gave them an adrenaline boost, and they started that game against Nola with 5 quick runs. And it was like, okay, like they're back. They just needed one day off, set their legs, and like we're good. And then on that Thursday, it was just like dead tired. It felt like they ran on adrenaline for one more day, and then they were just back to being exhausted. No runs, 7 hits. So it's again, this happened a little bit in the Arizona series where like guys are getting on, they're getting into scoring position, and we're just not converting on the runs the way that we were when the Brewers were like hottest team in baseball. So it's like mildly concerning to see that, to see a team that has hit so well with runners in scoring position like kind of regress in that category. Regression was due to an extent. Like you can't hit 280 with runners in scoring position throughout the duration of a season, but something to keep an eye on for sure as the postseason nears. But 7 hits, no runs, it just kind of felt dry. And it sucks too because Peralta, I mean, this is his last start, so he's still got the 29 inning scoreless streak going, but like 5 innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts, like nails. Freddie Peralta has been every part of an ace for months now. He's gonna work his way into like the second tier of Cy Young voting in the NL. Like it's Skeens and then it's like Peralta is right in that mix behind Skeens. Like the award is won, and now it's kind of like who's gonna be the guy to like push Skeens the furthest. And honestly, right now it kind of looks like it's gonna be Freddie. So glad that the Brewers got hot before the break, and there was no Freddie Peralta trade. That would have, I can't even imagine how much of a turn that would have had on this year. But Peralta's still a Brewer and just absolutely dealing. So it sucks that he got absolutely no support from the offense. And look, like he's leading the league in wins this year. Like he's gotten support. He's done well in those categories, but like 5 innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts, no run support, gets a no decision. Like sucks for Freddie, but essentially in my mind, Brewers split a 2-game set against the Phillies. That first game, that's a wash. They split a 2-game set against right now the second best team in the National League. And the Brewers showed that they could get to the Phillies. And they showed that they had answers for the Phillies bats. Like outside of that, the first game where the Phillies put up 10, the next 2 games combined, like a 3-run game on that Wednesday and a 2-run game on that Thursday, like the Phillies have mashers in that lineup, especially at the top. The top of that Phillies lineup is daunting, and the Brewers look great. Like the pitching staff look pretty good, so I think that bodes well. You played the Blue Jays tough, you played the Phillies tough, all while just like absolutely dead tired as a team, and there's not much more you can really ask of the guys than that. Like that's perfect. Bodes well that the Brewers are playing well against good teams late in the season. Because what happens so many times with this Brewers team is you get to September and that's when the bats go cold. The division is locked up, and then you you don't limp into the postseason, but you don't run into the postseason. And I want to say that this year might be different. We'll see. This Pirates series, spoiler alert, we swept them, and it was not competitive. So that's, I mean, what more can you ask for? And the Pirates sneakily have been playing very good baseball since they made the switch at manager. The Pirates have been above 500 since they fired their manager, brought in, his name is escaping me, but since they made the switch, they've played above 500 baseball. I forget what the stat was, but the magic number for the Pirates offense is 4 runs. That's how good their pitching staff has been, that if the Pirates score 4 runs, they have like a 80% win rate or something absurd. Like that's how tough it has been to like string together runs off of this Pirates staff. And stringing together runs was not much of an issue in this series. Game 1, Brewers had 10 hits. You got a quick run in the first inning, and then it was just kind of like it was all quiet on the Western Front until Oviedo leaves the game, and then kind of the wheels fall off. The bullpen does not hold up. You get 2 runs off of Carmen Ladzinski, I think is how they pronounce it on the broadcast. You get another one off of Johan Ramirez, and the Brewers end up winning 5-2. Really not a lot going on for the Pirates offense in this one, and that's been the issue for them all year. But also the Brewers did a great job. Pirates had 3 errors in this game, and the Brewers did not let those go to waste. Just tremendous up and down the lineup. You've got 2 hits for Terang, hit for Collins, 2 for Contreras, 2 for Bowers. Bowers had a great series. I know I was just saying that I'm sick of Jake Bowers at bats, and while I appreciate the defensive versatility, I'd like to see a guy like Tyler Black get those like lefty first base platoon type at bats, and I still kind of feel that way. But Jake Bowers had a great series, can't complain there. Priester goes 7 innings in this game, and man, that's another thing in this series. The Brewers got some length out of the starting rotation, and that is going to be life saving. Their bullpen is really up against the wall here. Shelby Miller's done. We lost Shelby Miller. McGill is still out. It seems like he's maybe going to be working his way back sooner than I at least thought initially. I don't think it'll be a 15-day minimum stint on the IL, but he shouldn't be out of action for too long. They're really trying to downplay the severity of this injury. They're making it seem like it's not that big of a deal. We'll see what we get out of Trevor McGill in the next couple of weeks, but getting length out of the starting rotation is critical at this point. I think Uribe is still leading the league in appearances. And again, he was used in this game, and he's been fantastic. No complaints, but just like it was great to see 7 innings out of Priester. 7 like solid innings. At no point did it feel like Priester was overmatched. Like the leash was long. He pitched well, and again, the Brewers win a Quinn Priester start. What else is new? I think that's like literally 15 in a row or something absurd. Game 2, Brewers again with 8 hits in this one. Only 4 runs, but 8 hits. You got 6 really, really strong innings out of Brandon Woodruff. His last couple starts, the final line hasn't looked great coming into this one, but the pitching has been strong. It's just been like a couple weak hits, unfortunate walk, hit by pitches, like guys getting on and managing to come around to score. It's been a lot of nickel and diming off Woodruff. That's really we're back online. Hope that wasn't for too long. I guess we'll see. But yeah, Woodruff was fantastic in this game. Like every bit of Brandon Woodruff that you want to see, you got in this game, which is tremendous. That's a great sign if Woodruff is like more himself, more like comfortable. He had 8 strikeouts in this game. Kind of like the effect a little bit of like against Pirates hitting. So like take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But great Woodruff outing. Great outings from pretty much everybody in the bullpen. Just altogether like just a Brewers win. 4-1. And that last game, yesterday's game, as at time of recording on the 7th, 10-2, your final in the finale against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 14 hits, 10 runs for the Brewers offense. Everybody except for Caleb Durbin had a hit. Sorry, Caleb Durbin. But just an amazing performance top to bottom by the offense. Everybody was playing well. And mind you, this whole Pirates series, no Christian Yelich. You didn't have Frelick or Churio in the lineup in this last game, and the Brewers still had 14 hits, 10 runs, a 4-hit day for Andrew Vaughn, stud. 2 hits for Terang, who also walked a couple times. But the real story is the Miz. Mizorowski in this game, something clicked. Chris Hook went out there for a mound visit early on in the game, and from then on, Mizorowski retired like 17 of 18 batters or something insane. He clicked. He was back to looking like he looked in his first couple outings. They mentioned on the broadcast, but he was coming in at the start of innings and he just looked juiced. Like he was running out to the mound. He was like quick with his warm up and he was like locked in. He walked the first 2 batters he faced, gave up 1 run early in the game. He had like 40 pitches after 2 innings. So it seemed like it was going to be a really quick, like you maybe get 4, maybe 5 out of Miz here if he settles in. He only had like 1 strikeout at that point. And then from then on, after those first 2 innings, he was nails. He finishes 7 innings, 8 strikeouts. He's not a guy that goes 7 innings. Even in the minors this year, he had 1 start where he went 7 innings. This is his longest start in the big leagues. He was just mowing through the lineup after the 2nd inning. Like, looked untouchable, unstoppable. If this is the version of Jacob Mizorowski that we see going forward, if something really clicked, if he figured something out in his mechanics, in his approach, like whatever it was, he will crack the rotation in the postseason. There would be no question about it. I've been thinking recently, I've said it on here, that he was probably going to be a bullpen arm in the postseason. He's probably going to be like just a 2 inning like super weapon coming out of the pen, which is a great spot to be. That's a great guy to have at your disposal. A guy that can come in and throw 95-mile-per-hour sliders for 2 innings and just like keep guys on their toes. But the way he looked for most of his start yesterday was kind of scary. He was dialed in. And after those 2 walks in the first inning, not a single one for the rest of the game. He was having quick innings. He was getting guys out. He was either striking them out or it was weak contact. There was not a lot of loud outs going around. Like Mizorowski, and they said this on the broadcast too, stole the show. Like the Brewers offense is not the story. They had 14 hits, 10 runs, as I've said 100 times now, and they were not the story of this game. 100% the story of this game was Jacob Mizorowski. I honestly, I cannot wait for his next start because I want to see if this is the guy we're gonna get going forward. I'm so interested to see, but it was it was like a breath of fresh air seeing like, okay, Mizorowski's back. Because honestly, we were getting to a critical point where they were probably gonna have to take him out of the rotation, right? Like let's think through this. You can't go into the postseason and have a guy who's been in the rotation in the minors and all season and then just flip him to the bullpen no matter what. Like he's got to get accustomed to that role. So we were getting to a point where they were gonna probably have to start giving him innings out of the pen, like bring him in the sixth and the seventh, and just like stop the other team for a couple innings so that he gets used to that role. He finds a routine, figures out how to do arm care, like all that kind of stuff. But this I don't know. This changed my mind, and it looked like he figured something out. Like it didn't just look like he was coming in and he was pitching well, so they left him in. Like he figured something out. The Brewers were not activating their bullpen. Like they were letting him go. He would go out there, and it wasn't the kind of short leash we've seen his last couple starts. It was like, no, we like whatever happened on that mound visit when Chris Hook went out there, they found something, and it really looks like Mizorowski might be the guy that we were kind of hoping he could be. We'll see, but I'm very, very optimistic that that was the mound visit that we're gonna look back on and say like that's when they figured it out. That's when he became the guy. Like right there, he looked like Ace Cy Young level, like Skeens esque, and no hyperbole there. At least in this start, he was Skeens esque. After those first 2 innings, it was unbelievable. You start series against the Rangers today. Again on the road. You got a quick 3-game set, then you get Thursday off, another day off, which is beautiful, before playing the Cardinals, and then you got the Angels after getting another day off next Monday. So the Brewers are going to be able to kind of reset here. You've been without Yelich for a few games because of back tightness. They're making it seem like it's not that big of a deal. It's just something that happens. It's just normal maintenance. So we'll see. Feels like if they keep winning, there's no real reason to rush him back, but they haven't put him on the IL. So realistically, Yelich is available at any point. They gave Chourio the day off yesterday, I think, to rest that hamstring. I also, maybe it's just a psychological thing. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe he does this all the time. But I noticed Chourio in that second game of the series. He had gotten hit on the hand against the Phillies at one point by a pitch, and there was a couple times where he would take a cut in this Pittsburgh series and he'd be flexing the hand, shaking it off. I might be nothing, but keep a vague idea that that's something going on with him. And yeah, we'll see. You got a series against the Rangers starting tonight. Caleb Durbin has not been a great hitter the last week or two. I think today he gets back on track and has 3/4 of the cycle, just missing the triple, 3 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. Write it down. Go Brewers.